day 10, I'm starting an 80-mile loop going clockwise on the high country pathway. And I plan on averaging 20 miles a day and hopefully finish up on Friday afternoon. Here's the parking lot at the Discovery Center with an outhouse, and up ahead is the beginning of the trail, and it's snowing. Here's the beginning of the trail. I'm gonna head north. Well, I'm starting the hike in mixed sleet and rain. There's the first glimpse of the Pigeon River just outside the Discovery Center. There's the Pigeon River right at the beginning of the trail. Here's the Pigeon River Campground. Going through the Pigeon River Campground. They've got water and outhouses. Crossing the Pigeon River at Ford Lake Road. There's some construction work going on here. Beavers have been at work along the trail. A few trees cut down by beavers along here next to the Pigeon River. Coming up to a trail sign in the hail. Continuing down the east side of the Shingle Mill Trail Loop. It's the Pigeon River down there. My first sign of mammalian wildlife, a dead mole in the trail. Actually, it's turning out to be a pretty nice day. It's about 12:30 and it's warming up with the sun coming out a little bit. I've gone 3.3 miles, turning right to the north section of the Shingle Mill Loop and High Country Pathway. Crossing a bridge across the swampy area, and looks like a beaver dam right there. Don't see any beavers. Passing the Cornwall Flats old logging site and a swampy area in here. And the marsh marigolds are coming out. Some big cedars growing in the swamp. There's the High Country Pathway marking, Blue Blaze. That's what I'm following. Entered a hardwood forest section of the trail. Flowers are starting to come up. I see a lot of trout lilies, leaves coming out. This would be a great source of water if I needed it. It's a underground spring coming up, and I'm sure the water wouldn't have to be treated. And I'm crossing Tin Bridge Road. And the path veers off to the right. It'd be easy to miss. I think this is actually Tin Bridge Road that I'm crossing now. And I just passed Tin Bridge Road. And the trail has a number of trees across it which you have to navigate. Spring beauties are coming up. I've gone 4.5 miles, and now I am leaving the Shingle Mill Pathway at the north end of it and heading north onto the High Country Pathway. There's my first trillium of the hike. There's one trout lily in bloom. Coming up to a very well-maintained sign of the High Country Pathway. Done a lot of selective timber cutting in this area. There is a few mild up and downs on the trail, but nothing too steep that lasts too long. Here, getting into some short climbs, going down into some ravines. Beech tree full of fungi. This looks like a good location to spot some elk, but I don't see any. I figured out they got these markers pointed in the direction the trail goes. So here, taking a right onto this dirt road at 2:35. It was a very short road walk, and I just passed a swamp, and I saw what looked like a barred owl and some mallards. It's a pretty area in here. Just arrived at the swamp area, and that looks like a beaver dam at one time, but part of it's man-made, so I'm not sure what that is. Just saw a couple white-tailed deer run through there. I think this is the viewpoint that was shown on the map. Coming out onto a 2-track, and it looks like you go left. Walked along this road for about 15 minutes. Now it's turning back, hopefully into the woods again. A few people camped out along here. And I just saw a sign that the bridge over the Pigeon River is gone, so I think I'm going to have to ford the river up ahead in a hailstorm. I've been doing a lot of walking on dirt roads and 2 tracks. Now I'm back on the trail again. This is much nicer. And the trail's starting to get a little muddy in spots. So far I've managed to keep my feet dry. Looks like they got a boardwalk for us. And it's a good thing because it's pretty marshy in here. Nice stands of white birch are coming up in the swamp area. There's been a lot of obstacles in the way on this trail. It has not been maintained for quite a while. This looks a little bit iffy. I think I'll put my camera away to try to cross this. This boardwalk could go at any minute. It's at about a 30-degree angle, and I'm just waiting to fall into the swamp. So far, so good. It's wobbling a lot, but hasn't caved in yet. Looks like a snake going through here. I'd probably be better off walking down below, but I'm risking it. Coming up to the Pigeon River, and I guess they weren't lying when they said you had to ford the river. And I hope it's not too deep, because it's pretty cool out here right now, but I'm gonna give it a try. Gotta search for the best area to cross. It looks pretty deep right here. Well, I'm ready to cross. I picked a location. Let's see how it goes. That's cold. It is cold. I just hope it doesn't get too deep. I think it's gonna be okay. Pretty rocky on the bottom. Well, I made it across the river. It's 4:10, and I'm arriving in Pine Grove Campground. Good place to fill up the water bottle here at Pine Grove Campground. They've got an outhouse at the campground. I'm leaving Pine Grove's campground, and Dog Lake is 6 miles. I've got to hike for at least 1 mile before I find a campsite to stay legal. So I'm gonna hike for a little while yet. This is a really nice section of trail after leaving the Pine Grove's campground. Here's the overlook of the Pigeon River. Been walking through some wet areas. The trail is kind of muddy, but my feet are dry. I'm going to start looking for a campsite shortly. The trail through here is very faint. Can hardly see the trail, so I'm really relying on the blue markers quite a bit. A couple trilliums in full bloom. I'm looking for a place to pitch my tent, but the ground is very rough. I really haven't seen anything, so I'm going to keep going. Try to find some flat ground. Hiked about 12 miles today, found a campsite, and I'm just laying in the leaves, relaxing, looking at the beautiful sky. I like to see that blue. May 10, here's my campsite for the night. About 1.5 miles north of Pine Grove Campground. Got here at about 5:10. So it's a pretty nice spot. I'm gonna cook up some dinner, maybe have a fire. Got my food bag hanging from a tree. Keep it away from the bear, raccoons. Had a good night's sleep last night. The elk were billowing in the evening, and I woke up to some wild turkey this morning. And I'm planning on hiking about 20 miles today. All goes well. And a little cool, probably about 35 degrees and cloudy. Heading back to the trail from my campsite. I camped out of sight from the trail, and it's about 7:20. Trail crews have not been out this spring. There's a lot of big trees, deadfall over the trail. Have to navigate around. I am crossing Webb Road on the high country pathway. The trail is just about impossible to see in some spots, so it's a good thing to have the blue markers. Crossing a water source in case you really needed it, but it'd work fine. Not the greatest. That's the trail this morning. Another deadfall. This is probably number 7 or 8. Found a way around it. Passing through a nice stand of fir trees. 8:10, I'm passing another small water source, although I don't know if it'll be wet all year long, but it is a possibility for water refill. This is the trail, complete deadfalls. Here's a really nice water source. Looks like that'd probably be flowing most of the year. Still a few pretty old white pines out here that survived the axe. You do have to put in some effort to keep your shoes dry through part of this trail. Trail's been pretty nice. A few swampy areas to walk through, quite a few deadfalls to get through, and now I'm passing a nice stand of red pines. Wintergreen berries are coming out already. Gonna give one of these wintergreen berries a try before the animals get them all. Tastes pretty good, like wintergreen. Can also chew on the leaves, freshens up the breath, like wintergreen. 9 o'clock in the morning, came up upon Osmond Road, and I should be seeing the north spur of the Shore to Shore Trail shortly. Very short walk on Osmond Road, and heading back into the high country pathway woods. Passing through a stand of jack pine, and if I'm lucky, maybe I'll see some Kirtland's warblers. Hit Dubby Lake Road, and Dog Lake is just to the south of here. Dog Lake is out there somewhere. Had a short walk on Dubby Lake Road, and now we're heading back in towards the edge of Dog Lake. This is what much of the day has looked like. Nice pine-covered trail, not too rough. Very pleasant day so far. There's Dog Lake. Very nice view. There's some elk scat along the trail. And it is 10:05, and I've been walking on old 2 tracks for 15 minutes or so, and now I'm back in the woods. Pleasant trail. Ran into an area where they've done a lot of timbering, saved some of the larger trees. Coming to the end of the logging area. I think the red marks are the limits of the logging, and the green are the trees that are being saved. And this in here looks like it's all going to be logged also. But heading back into the woods. Dubby and McClavey Lake should be coming up shortly, unless I already passed them. It's possible. Had a few little tiny sprinkles, but not bad. Pretty section of the trail. Some cedars, white pines, and there's a cedar swamp back in there. I'm crossing a 2-track, and I'm not sure where it goes. I walked up to the end there, and it says private. Walking through a logged area that's now dominated by poplar, aspen. This area's been logged. A few years ago, it looks like, I came to the side trail to McClavey Lake. I was thinking about going to McClavey Lake, but I think I'll pass and continue forward. Look at this. This trail is completely dominated by deadfalls. Looks like a tornado went through here. Holy cow. You gotta get to work with a chainsaw. I'm not even sure if I'm still on the trail. Club moth is all coming out for the spring. Put in some boardwalk for us through this wet area, although it looks pretty dry right now. This stretch of boardwalk looks like it might be in a lot better condition than the last stretch. This is Milligan Creek. Looks pretty solid. It's settling in a few spots, but I trust it. Milligan Creek. Well, this is a nice stand of cedars. Very nice, very pretty in here. It's quite a long boardwalk. Thank you, High Country Pathway Trail crew, for putting in this boardwalk and keeping my feet dry. Another nice cedar swamp. I am completely out of water, so I am refilling my supply at this stream. Looks like pretty clean, fresh water. I'm leaving here with 1.5 liters of water, more than I really need. My next refill on water will be at the Black River. I think it's going to be at about 8 miles or so. There's a deer up ahead. I'm going to see if I can sneak up on him. Well, he spotted me. He just took off. It was a large white-tailed deer. I was hoping to see an elk. I've seen a lot of signs. I just got through a very swampy area. Had to do a lot of zigzag and navigating to keep my feet dry. 12:15, taking a lunch break. I got some tortillas with peanut butter and some pudding, Gorp, Cliff Bar, crackers, and candy bar. Came up to McCready's Field homestead site. The old homestead was probably in here somewhere. My feet got a little wet. Back there's been areas that are pretty hard to get through without stepping in some swamp. Crockett Rapids Bridge, 2 miles. Maybe that's over the Black River. That would be about the right distance, I think. This might be Centerline Road extended, and I see a blue marker way up across the field. Passing through a hardwood forest, and without the marks, I would never be able to follow this trail in spots. I've been walking through this kind of stuff for the last couple miles, and I gotta be getting awfully close to Black River parking lot. That must be the Black River down there. I think I'm gonna be heading downhill to reach the river and the bridge and the parking lot. 2 o'clock, I just came out of the woods and reached the Black River Road and the Black River in the parking lot. There's the Black River, beautiful river. Looks like it'd be good canoeing. And I see a blue marker over here, so that's where the trail continues on. Somebody left a nice pair of shoes here. I think they probably drove away and left them outside their car. There's an outhouse at the parking lot, but there's not a soul around, not a car or anyone. It looks like another tornado came through here. There's just trees everywhere along the trail. You can't even see the trail at all, it's just covered with trees. Had to work a little bit at following the trail through here. Went the wrong direction for a little while, didn't see any marks. There's so many trees down, and I came back and circled around for a while and found the trail. So I'm back on the trail again. Everything this direction has been clear cut up to the edge of the trail. Everything's been clear cut over there. Pier, 1995. Maybe they're the ones that constructed this boardwalk through the cedar swamp. Quite a nice boardwalk. Good water source in this area. I just saw some kind of animal run through here. I don't know what it was. Looked like brown, maybe a bobcat. I don't know. About the right size. Most of the hikes done like this, mixed hardwoods and then pines back and forth. And I should have just a couple miles to go to the shelter, where I think I might spend the night. This area is a little bit different landscape than what I've been seeing. And I just passed an oil pump, and I wondered what the noise was when I was nearing it. Got a nice view over there. crossing road 634, and I should be really close to the shelter now. I arrived to the edge of the Black River, so followed the river for a little bit up to the shelter and the bridge. Here's the shelter and a fire pit and the bridge on the Black River. This is much nicer than I expected. Not sure if I'll stay in here or not. Check out the inside. Huh. Nice. I might wait to see if other people show up, and with Corona, if they're not comfortable, I'll pitch my tent somewhere. Otherwise, I might sleep in here tonight. I went about 23 miles today. Started just north of Pine Grove Campground and through here all the way to Canada Creek Shelter. It's a pretty easy day. A few little ups and downs, a few swamp crossings, but it was pretty. Hiked 20.3 miles today, so I'm right on schedule. Just finished dinner, decided to go stoveless on this trip. I've not seen another person since yesterday morning at Pine Grove Campground, so I'm going to sleep inside the Canada shelter tonight. Hiked through a lot of different habitats today, mixed hardwood, conifer forest, quite a few swamps, got a wet feet a few times, but it was a really pleasant day. Weather was nice, so I'll be ready for another 20 miles in the morning. I think I was the first one to arrive at this shelter this spring because it was full of mouse nests, which I cleaned out, and I've got my food hanging here, so I think it'll be safe from the mice because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of them around tonight.